All right. Do you want to figure out how to set up your home recording studio like the pros so that it sounds amazing, your mixes translate, you can record pretty much anything in a room the size of a bedroom? Now, many of you may know that I had a wonderful soundproof home recording studio here in Nashville. Due to circumstances of growing as a family and advancing in my life and my career, we decided to buy a new house, which meant selling the old house and the old studio. So I am currently, right now, in another home studio in like a spare office in our new house. And I'm here waiting until I can build the future soundproof studio at this new location. So I wanted to use this time to show you guys how I built this room to be a professional home recording studio like I've done so many times in my life. You know, not all of us can afford or have the luxury of a soundproof room, but with some basic concepts of acoustics and panels, you can really create an amazing space. And that's what I'm going to teach you in this studio. No fluff. I'm going to give you right to you here in just a second. Before we jump in, I just want to let you know that I do have a free resource for you that will help you along this journey. This is my free acoustic treatment guide. You can check it out for free at my website at soundproofyourstudio.com/acoustic. That is soundproofyourstudio.com/acoustic. All right, let's dive in to how to set up your room like the pros. All right, first off, you really should hang your acoustic ceiling cloud. You can see here in these pictures and these videos that the first thing I did before I had my desk or any other panels in the room was install these. Well, I have this massive 8x8 acoustic cloud by Alex McVeigh Acoustics. It's amazing, but no matter the size of your acoustic cloud, you want to lay them out on the floor first, line them up, and then use a laser leveler to make sure that you can get them into the exact spot on your ceiling. You're also going to need to make sure that you hit some studs. If you're hanging acoustic clouds, if you're doing a soundproof room, we like to hit the actual metal furring channels in our ceilings. But either way, this is the first thing you do. You set up the acoustic clouds because you want a clean, empty room to do that in. It's really hard to do it when you have everything already set up. So that's step one. Now, once you've hung your acoustic cloud, this next step is to put in all of our bass traps. And I love bass trapping. I mean, the most bang for your buck is in just getting an acoustic panel. This could be a rectangular acoustic panel like you've probably seen all over the internet. You just straddle the corners, or it can be like these acoustic panels that I have from GIK Acoustics, which I really like, which are the soffit bass traps, or you could even use the corner bass traps if you don't have enough space for the soffit bass traps. And I have put these in all four corners of my room. You can see on the back wall, I've used the corner bass traps because that's just what I have right now. They work great. No complaints. Yes, the bigger bass traps are better, but hey, you know, space is sometimes something we don't have a luxury to have in these smaller home recording studios. So that alone, between the cloud and the four traps, you're going to already notice like, whoa, my room sounds way more tight and focused. The sound is really good. So right off the bat, if that's all you can afford, I always tell people start there. That's like your main setup. Now, if you have the extra budget, the next thing is you need to establish what we call the reflection-free zone. And the reflection-free zone is that when you set up your speakers, like right now I'm standing at my desk and I've got my monitors and I want to have the wall directly to my left and to my right have acoustic paneling on it. And I like to generally use the thickest paneling I can afford, both space-wise and money-wise, because in smaller rooms, you're never going to get excellent bass response. It's just physically impossible. So we want to absorb as much low end as we can in the space that we have. So the thicker the panel, the lower that the panel frequency will go down. On that note, you always want to leave a bit of an air gap behind your panel. At least an inch, 2 inches is even better. Will give you some even more low frequency absorption in your smaller home recording studio, bedroom, or home office. As you can see here, I'm hanging some of my GIK acoustic panels to the left and right of me. I generally like to have them about 30 inches off the floor. You can experiment with that. And on my left and right, I like to also keep them very tight together. Some people like to spread them out. I like to actually create more of a larger panel. So I get two 2x4 panels next to each other. So I get a 4x4 space on either side of me. And in general, you want to have where your ears are to the left, pretty close up to your bass traps. You want to create this space where the sound that hits off your speakers and hits the immediate left and right wall, it gets absorbed mostly and doesn't come back to your ears. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to reduce comb filtering, and we're trying to reduce those early reflections in your room. So now that we have our bass traps, our ceiling cloud, and our left and our right panels hanging on our walls, we've created a solid reflection-free zone. This alone will make your listening position sound infinitely better than if you had no acoustic treatment at all. And for, a couple $100 to even $1,000, you can transform a room into a professional level recording studio. Now, if you still have some money left over, this is where we treat the back wall. And in my studio, you'll see here that I actually have some acoustic absorption diffusion panels from GIK Acoustics on stands. And this is from my original studio before I built my soundproof recording studio. I actually was in a room very similar to this, and I wanted to cover up, a window. So I put the acoustic panel on stands so I could move it away from the window if I wanted to. And then I also wanted to cover up some doors. And in this case, I have some doors in the back of my studio as well. And what's really cool is that when you put panels on stands, or even like gobos, go-betweens on wheels, you're able to move your back wall panels forward and backward. And something most people don't realize is that, one, the practicality of being able to move a panel in front of a door, away from a door if you want to use the door, is huge, but also the ability to actually pull the panel off the back wall. So when you hang a panel on the wall, you might be getting like that 1 to 2 inch air gap maximum, usually. Maybe some people are crazy and they put like a 4-inch air gap, spacers out, and that's great, but it's not the best. So if you put your panel on wheels or on stands, you can then move it closer to you when you're mixing and get better low end absorption because there's a bigger air gap behind your panel, which increases the low end absorption. So I love this idea of either using panels like I've shown you here, or even gobos, like go-betweens. Music City Acoustics sells them. Alex McVeigh Acoustics here in Nashville sells them. They both make great gobos that could be put on the back part of your studio. And I think it's a phenomenal way to fix the low end absorption in your room. So if you do those steps here, we talked about the ceiling cloud first, then we talked about adding bass traps in all of our corners, all 4 corners of the room ideally. Sometimes there's a door, you can't do it, you just do the best you can. And then we talked about putting panels on our left and right wall. Again, if there's a window, put it on a stand or something so that you can hang it in front of the window. And then our back wall, we talked about adding absorption diffusion panels or gobos. I tend to want to use absorption more than diffusion on the back wall. You'll hear a lot online, people saying, oh, diffusers, quadratic diffusers, blah, blah, blah. The problem is in these smaller rooms in home recording studios, we never really have enough absorption. So we want to put as much absorption on that back wall as possible. And if you can also add a diffusion plate on top of that, like the ones from GIK Acoustics that I'm showing here, it can be really helpful for brightening up the back part of your room. All right, this is my secret sauce for all my success in recording over the years. I've been a professional producer in Nashville. I use this exact same setup. I've had songs of mine on Netflix. I've had them on ABC television. They've had, hundreds of thousands of streams on the internet. So I have had enough success in rooms like this to let you know that, it's not about having the multi-million-dollar tracking facility. It's more about these basic principles that will get you there. Even when we're designing soundproof studios for high-end clients, I'm still using these same common techniques, just at a more professional, higher-end scale, but the concepts stay the same. So I hope this has been really helpful. Again, if you guys are on that journey of trying to acoustically treat a home studio and you just want someone to drop some quick plans for you, that is something I love doing for people. So you can reach out for a Soundproof Clarity call just at soundproofyourstudio.com/step1. That's soundproofyourstudio.com/step1. And if you're not interested in any help, no shade on that. I understand the DIY method. I've been there myself many times. That's why I'm here to help you with my acoustic treatment guide. Just go to soundproofyourstudio.com/acoustic and you can grab that guide right away. All right, thanks again so much for watching. I'm Wilson Harwood. I'm a professional studio designer and acoustician based in Nashville, and my goal is to just help you guys the best that I can for free as much as possible. And I just want to give. That's all what this channel is all about. All right, I'll see you all next week with more information on soundproofing and room acoustics. I'll see you later.